Okay, so I'm still at St. Lawrence Market. I just bought an orange for a little snack. I got a nice little blood orange, because why not? It's $1. So I just did all of my shopping for my class, well, just to do my demo at home to practice. So I got some basil. I got 8 of these gnocchi boards. All of the semolina for maybe 2 something. Almonds down there. And then we got some Parmigiano Reggiano, because that is irreplaceable and very necessary in the pesto. I fiend cheese. So, has a bunch of goodies in here. Making the pasta and doing the demo at home should be a lot of fun. So here we have our semolina flour. It is 1.5 cups or 200 grams. We are going to use something called the well method to make our dough. And the only thing you have to ensure is that your flour is a nice solid wall, so your water or whatever liquid you have doesn't just leak out everywhere. So here I've already measured out 3/4 cup of water, and we are going to add it a little bit at a time. We don't want to dump the whole thing in right away, just in case, since flour is very sensitive to the weather and just the type of flour, where and when you bought it. That's a whole nother story. Don't just dump in the whole thing right away. Let's start a little bit at a time. So we are going to begin by adding a tiny little bit of water and just use one hand. Have a designated hand to deal with the sticky wet part, and then you have a dry hand to control the flour and to pour in more water as you need. Literally, as you need. Okay? Okay, so we can start adding more water. Don't be scared. Okay? And you just really want to make sure you are slowly incorporating that flour, letting it suck up that water. It's going to take some time, okay? This is a lot of fun. This is the fun part. So I'll bring you in closer since I have my dry hand anyway. Okay? So you want to start mixing this in. Of course, you want to have an extremely clean table while you're doing this. Okay? You start bringing everything in a little bit more. Okay, now I need my other hand again. Whoop. And if you have a little bit of water that escapes, it's okay, just use your flour to scoop that up. Okay? So at this point you can start adding, I think we can afford to add more of our water. This was the perfect amount of water. Patience is key here, because you have to give this time to actually drink it up. So you're going to have a nice, hydrated, soft dough, okay? And it's not going to be sticky and all over the place, okay? And you can see that it is nice and soft. Okay, it doesn't really have shape or elasticity yet. You want this sticky ball to turn into a nice, smooth, tight, elastic ball. Oh, this is not kneading. Okay, I see a lot of kids doing this, but I feel like that's just a trap for dirty nails. When you're kneading, you're just using really the palms of your hands, and you're going to push the dough, rock it forward and fold. We have our nice, smooth, round semolina dough. We are going to cover it up and let it rest. Okay? It feels so smooth and so nice. Okay?
Now that our dough is resting, we can start on our pesto. Now, the most important ingredient in a pesto is, of course, your basil. So we're going to need about 3 cups of freshly picked and washed basil, a 1/2 cup of grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, another 1/2 cup of almonds, or again, any nut that you prefer or have in the house. You can use walnuts, pine nuts, and then of course some garlic, and then olive oil and a little bit of salt, of course, to season. So give me 1 second while I prep all of my pesto mies.
Now we have all of our ingredients ready. We have our fresh washed basil. Make sure to get a good whiff. It puts you in a good mood. It gets you ready to make the pesto. The grated Parmesan, 2 cleaned cloves of garlic. Now please use your judgment. If you have 1 fat piece of garlic that's super stinky, maybe don't put 2. Start off with 1, but these are moderate size.
And then we've got our almonds, like I said, salt and olive oil. Now the next thing you're going to need is a mortar and pestle. This is going to help us grind up the leaves and the nuts and garlic and mix everything together. So if you have never used a mortar and pestle before, there are two basic movements or ways that you use this tool. You have bashing, which is the traditional plunk, 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 or the muddle. Now, of course, you are going to use these two different methods for different types of ingredients. So if you have something soft like basil, you don't want to smash it because it's just going to bruise it. You want to start muddling, getting those leaves broken down and really turning into a paste. And something like nuts and the garlic, once we get that in there, give it a little bit of a crush. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to learn as you get familiar with your mortar and pestle. We are down here now because I really want you to get a good look at what the ingredients should look like as we use our mortar and pestle to make our basil. Because even though it is only a few ingredients and it's a very simple method, there are steps, just like any other recipe. So to start off our pesto, we are going to add our basil. This is about 3 cups. Okay, so I picked and washed these guys, okay? So it's okay if it looks a little bit full. We're going to add a pinch of salt to this, which will help break the leaves down, and our muddling action will get that process going. So just a little pinch of salt. Get that in there. Okay, and with your pestle, you are going to start working that in, okay? Like I said, so you can start with a little bit of the bashing. Don't be too aggressive, okay? You don't want to bruise this guy. You just want to start getting that salt to bring out the moisture in the basil leaves and to start help breaking it down, okay? So smash, 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 okay? Muddle, muddle, muddle. Finished with our basil. You can see that it shrank a lot, so you know what I mean. Don't be scared if it's overflowing. Just grind her down. Okay, now it's time to add our nuts. We're going to add our almonds. Okay, a couple handfuls, about half a cup. Okay, and then our cloves of garlic. I think I'm going to just start with 1 actually. This is pretty big, so I'll see how it tastes as I start grinding. Okay, and this is when you want to start using the bashing method. Like I said, the nuts and the garlic are whole and they're a little bit harder, so you're going to need to break those down. I recommend when you are using the bashing method to either have a cloth or a clean hand covering and making sure that it doesn't just like sploosh everywhere and make a big mess. Okay, because for the first couple minutes you're going to be really grinding that in there. Okay, give her a bash. Okay, just check in there once in a while. Make sure everything is all mixed properly. Okay, keep bashing. That is the fun part about this recipe. You want to do this with purpose. Here, I'll take a picture of it so you can see. This first. If there's anything I've learned from being a cook is taste, taste, taste. You never know. To be honest, we made curry with this a couple weeks ago and we wiped it out and everything, but maybe it's gonna be like a curry scented pesto. Oh, I could just eat that on its own. Whew. The garlic's a little strong. Okay, so now it's time to add our cheese. Ah, cheese. Okay, again, this might seem like a lot, but it's because it's so finely grated. It will, again, just meld into that pesto. And then again, a couple glugs of olive oil. I actually just cracked open this olive oil today, so I want to give her a taste. It's nice green color. And of course, you can't substitute olive oil for something like canola oil because canola oil is a very heavy mouthfeel. Olive oil has a very fresh and light aftertaste. So I'm going to add a couple glugs of the olive oil into the Parmesan. Okay, if you guys want to take a look. This is what we have now. Maybe I'll add a little bit more olive oil just for the effect. And now we muddle. Unfortunately, as I was filming that, the camera died. So in the meantime, as the camera was charging, I went ahead and made the CAVATELLi. Look how cute! I'm going back and forth charging my camera with doing this recipe. Okay, mise en place is having your hardware. Okay, so I'm not even going to bother with dumping out the pasta with a strainer. I'm just going to scoop these babies out. It's okay if you have a little bit of pasta water. Okay, I think I'm also doing it this way for the sake of using a selfie stick and cooking at the same time, because I think this is considered a new skill, my friends. Okay, so we got that in there. Beautiful, and you want to start working quick because you don't want this to turn gummy. As I'm saying that, I'm like struggling to get this going. Okay, so can we all see? This is fun. Okay, we're gonna get the pesto, add that right into the bowl. I want a lot of pesto, I want a lot of flavor here. And just start giving a nice mixy mix. Okay, if you're Italian, please don't hate on me. Okay, and there you have it. Homemade cavatelli with a almond basil pesto. Super simple. I'm going to a menu tasting later. I'm gonna stink like garlic, but that's okay. You're proud of yourself every time you make fresh pasta. Amazing every time. I hope you got some useful tips and learned a couple of things. And at the end of this episode, I hope you're inspired to make some pasta at home. See ya.